What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And we have a special guest, special co-host. We have Chelsea Pierre. She is a professional speaker, as well as the CEO of Blurred's Leading Technology. Glad to have her back on the show. So if you go way back to probably like somewhere between episode 1 and 10, Chelsea was our very first interview. So thank you for being back on the show.
Oh yes. No problem. I enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it.
I appreciate it. It's like I forgot about the connection outside of us both knowing Jeff, right? So Jeff is a mentor, good friend. Jeffrey Lodig, shout out to him. He introduced us and said, hey, you should have Chelsea on the show, when I told him like what I wanted the show to be about. So that's why you're our very first interview. Like I held out. There was some other people want to get on. I was like, no. Jeff said I need to talk to Chelsea, so she's gonna be on first. And then from there, like you've taken off and grown, and we want to catch up on your business and what have you. But the other connection just put out there, got 3 airmen right here, 3 Air Force veterans on the podcast. So last time was just me and you, but next time we got the Shannon in the mix as well. So like that is a first actually for the show, and we're in like 340 something episodes. So I appreciate that as well. Got to put that out there. But what is going on in Chelsea's world? Like, if you could break down for the audience, like hopefully we have brand new people coming in because we joined Heroes Media Group, who you are, your background, and then we could talk about business.
Oh yeah, no, exciting. Yeah, okay. Vets. I love y'all. That's so much when I was in. I love y'all now. Like a distant cousin.
There you go.
As long as I can see y'all doing family reunions, I'm ecstatic. Right. No, it's good. So my name, Chelsea Pierre. Like what he said, one public speaker. I have an upcoming conference. It is Women Tech Global Conference. It is we actually speak next week on the 9th. And it's going to be loads. It's an excellent conference. Definitely get your tickets. And oh man, the topic is awesome. The women is awesome. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people I meet. I enjoy just the mentorship. So that's coming up. I have a couple of other conferences coming up later within the year. I don't have the official dates yet. They're still trying to get some things, but definitely Women Tech Global Conference I speak at next week. So I'm excited. But yeah, Blurred's Leading Technology. So let me get into it. So prior Air Force, like what he said, when I was did a system admin role. Then I said, you know what? I believe I can make a little bit more outside the branch than what I'm doing here. And so, I separated and started doing contracting, right? So I started doing contracting, had a passion at the time. Again, I got out 2013, had a passion to get into cybersecurity, but it wasn't as opening as it is now, right? They want you to have some type of skill, experience, opportunities that people have today did not have back then. So what I decided to do was to be intelligent. And I said, you know what is cybersecurity? It's defending the networks. Well, let me get into networking. And so that's when I started doing security networking. And then it led my way into cybersecurity. And so as I started growing, I wanted to educate myself, wanted to meet more people, because I started realizing there's not a lot of people that look like me inside that data center. And I just wanted to know why. So what I did was I joined meetup groups, local cyber organization groups like that, and then enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed the networking. And I started realizing there's not a lot of people at these network groups that look like me neither, especially women. And so I'm like, interesting. Really didn't ring a bell. I'm like, like maybe where I'm at, I'm in the South. At that time I was in Tampa, like, okay, a little different in the South. So, all right. Right. And so started going to conferences, and I realized not too many people, if any, outside of me is at these conferences. And so it took one conference for me to go to where I was so excited. I seen a Black woman. I said, yes, right? And so as I'm trying to walk up to her, like, hey, how you doing? I realized that she was passing out the drinks. She was one of the waitresses. She was passing out the waters. And so that's when it hit me. I'm like, what is going on? I'm at these meetup groups. Is people not hearing about it? I'm going to these conferences, these large conferences. I don't see them selling things at podiums. I don't see, us walking around. What the heck is going on? And so I started calling some friends I got in the military that's located in other areas that's in tech. I'm like, hey, I believe I got a conference coming up at this time. Go to this conference. I got some questions. So they'll go and I'm like, hey, was there a lot of us there? Well, you're the only one because I'm noticing it down here in the South. And so I started noticing a trend. And so from that, what I decided to do was at that time, I decided to start my own. And that at the time, tried to start my own organization, but I couldn't really figure out how to do it. So I joined Blacks in Tech. Blacks in Tech, that was in Tampa. And so became the president of that, started realizing, because once you're in a certain positions, then you start to see what's really going on, get all the inside scoop. I'm like, okay, well, there is an issue. There's an inclusion issue within technology and us. And so I did that for a while, and then I decided to open my own company. And so, which was Blur's Lean Technology. And all of that it's a training company. So not only, no matter wherever you are in your IT field, I provide training. If you become a member, I provide unlimited training on any area of technology, unlimited certificates in any certificate that you want. I have technology mentors. I have tech resume editors. I have tech consultants. So let's say you're trying to come from the outside into technology. I have consultants that will talk to you like, hey, what you trying to do? Let's look at your resume. Let's talk about your goals, right? I even have consultants that, let's say that you don't want to be in IT no more, right? So we're going to help you transition out of tech to whatever profession that you want to be, because not everybody loves IT, right? So people do it to get the money and go farther within their passion. And now also, just my experience opening a technology company that is nonprofit, I realized the hardships it is just trying to be a Black owner in startups. So I have also business consultants that is within that packet as well. You don't even have to have a tech company, just any business you're trying to do. As a member, you have access to a free business consultant. So it is a one-stop shop of Chelsea Pierre's hardships that I'm trying to mitigate to other people. And like I said, when you become a member, you have access to all of that. I have college packages that I'm connecting with colleges. I was working with University of Washington, like, hey, here is some tools, here's some things within my package that can help your students. So when they do graduate, they can graduate with just more than a degree. Because when I graduated Troy University, I had a degree in applied computer science. I believe Ryan said earlier this week that he went to college for computer science. And me, like him, I realized, all right, all of these physics, all of these calculus, all of this math, program is really what did it for me. I'm like, because at the time, like, I didn't realize, all the programming and computer science, right? That's the science of it, the programming. It didn't click to me. So I said, well, I'm a little far in, so how can I whittle my way out? And they said, well, we have applied computer science. I said, oh, okay. So that applies, and I'm not going to say programming, right? And they say, yes, Chelsea. I said, okay. And so, so I did applied computer science and knocked still did programming, but it knocked a couple of those other courses out. So I did that with the company. It was successful. It's growing. Memberships is coming. As it is growing, I am seeing the world change, and I'm seeing other companies and other nonprofits try to do the same thing. Like, hey, let's bring, especially Black organizations, let's bring more of us in, because it's still a shortage. And then the numbers actually shows it. Because now I'm getting my double degree in Auburn University. So I'm getting it in my executive MBA with a focus on cybersecurity in information systems management.
Okay.
And so it's funny you reached out to me because last month or the month before last, I signed up for a research podium, and the focus was women and technology, the barriers of it.
Okay.
And so I did that. I actually won first for the graduate college of business. So I won
Oh,
first
congratulations.
place. Thank you. It was exciting. It was exciting. But what was interesting is I focused on that, just the Black women in it.
Mhm.
And so of course, we can always do minorities, but if you break it down more so to Black women, you get to see the numbers dwindle, right? And so the judges was asking me questions, and it's fascinating because a lot of the information they did not know. And so I think we as a community assume that everyone should know, and some people just do not know what we go through. So people see Black women issues as women issues, but every culture has different issues. That's like saying, and I gave an example to a judge. I said that's like saying, hey, the United States has issues, right, within the country. We do, but we have our issues as grave as other countries issues, right? Certain things that other countries have to deal with, certain rules, certain laws that they have to deal with, we don't have to deal with because land of freedom. So it's the same thing like Caucasian women and other minority women. What they have to deal with is not what we have to deal with, right? We all have our different struggles. And so as I kind of broke that down, it was like, oh okay. I'm like, yes. but that's what I'm doing. Ryan, I actually opened a new company. It's
Okay.
called Pierre's Tech Heads, and I'm doing government contracting. So I'm
Okay.
bidding, yeah. So I'm bidding, contracting. I'm trying to get in there. Have
That's
a
that's an
Black
awesome
woman.
space. Right. So are
Yeah.
you, what is it? An 801C? Is that what it is?
Hmm.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
know that tiny bit, right? I did a little bit, I did an internship with Child to Space
Yeah.
here in Tampa. They are also 801C, but it's different, right? I know being minority owned versus being a woman in a minority owned company have kind of different time periods and different accesses. So that's awesome that you're in that space.
They, they do, and I mean, I am said I'm Black, I'm a woman, disabled vet, and so I'm
Mhm.
putting all of that in, doing all of
Right.
the bidding, and what I'm trying to do, of course, fair hire, but fair open hire.
Mhm.
So we have more of us in there that owns these contracts, right? More opportunities that we can not only hire fairly, but mentor those so more of us come. So I opened that last year. Last
Okay.
year I
No,
did.
that is awesome to be in that space, especially because yeah, it's not a lot of women who own companies in that space, especially like you said, minority women, and then disabled vet on top of it, right? So it's great for representation, and like you said, to bring in more people and then to make them understand, 'cause that's a whole different league of its own, right? Like DoD contract, is that whole industrial base is just different. So that's awesome to see. So we definitely want to capture that. Like the first off, like if I had a soundboard, it'd be claps because you're doing amazing things. Like you just continuously impress me as we talk right over the years. You're starting all these businesses, you're expanding upon the business that you currently have. And I love that you do the whole, it seems like the whole life cycle when it comes to bringing people in the
Mhm.
pipeline, right? Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And here are all of the resources and training to get you to where you want to be. Because a lot of that's not being done. And we talked about, Google has their program, Microsoft has their program. We talked about in the past how they're starting to go to HBCUs and open up the
Mhm.
pipeline, and all that stuff is great. And
Mhm.
I definitely want to continue to see big companies, especially trillion-dollar companies like Apple, Microsoft, continue to do that. But it's good to see you as a small business owner also be able to be in that space and to grow and flourish, right? Like you're not going to be drowned out by a Microsoft or an Apple because there's specific areas you can capitalize in that they cannot. So I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it is.
teach
It's
me. I need to I need to join as well so I
it's
can try to capitalize.
oh yeah, it's exciting, right? It's exciting. Said But it's a life cycle. People trying to get into technology, okay? And at some point, how do you want to exit? Do you want to exit with a company? Do you want to exit in a new career,
Mhm.
right? I actually had oh, he is going to not be happy, but I had a financial spokesperson on one of the major vet resource companies.
Mhm.
He is not going to be happy. But people try to out process one of the major vet companies, come in, try to get you on the right path.
Right.
Got what name it is. But he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. How do you feel about me helping you for just financial literacy?" Right. And I said, "Oh," I said, "that's interesting. I could probably tie that or add that to one of my programs, because being financially intelligent, that
Right.
matters. So you could be in tech, but so I'm trying to spin him in, or figure out, or have him as a guest speaker, probably one of the conferences I'm at, we could add an additional speaker and he just focus on financial literacy, and we could just tie that together,
Right.
right? And so I've been having a lot of people come in and wanting to tie things with me, with different professions. I think it's awesome, because honestly, tech is everywhere.
That is
So
very
yeah.
true. Yeah. Not just the cost of getting in, right? But then what do you do? Because I see a lot of people like, so I follow tech on Twitter and things of that nature. And some of it is just for the likes and things of that nature, but there are a lot of people who are coming in um and they're receiving a lot of money, right? Not to say that everybody who comes in tech is going to make money. That's not always going to be the case, right? It's not 100% across the board, but it's a very lucrative field. But if you don't know what to do with that money once you receive it, right? Like to invest it or to start a business or to grow upon what you have, and you're just out here buying Benzes, it's probably not the best solution. So that's good to have someone who can give them that mentorship to like, uh, create that generational wealth. And that's something that we lack as well in our community, right? Like we don't necessarily have the experience because we're not coming from wealth, right? It's not something that was passed on to us. It's something we're currently building, which is awesome. But then what do you do with it, right? How do you make the future um, more bright for everybody else, especially within your lineage moving forward? So that's awesome as well. Like again, very impressive. Like all the stuff you're doing. Um, so we covered your background. We talked about a little bit about you serving and what have you. So um, disabled vet. You're here. You have several companies. Um, what does the future look like? What do you like? Not to try to get too far ahead, because I know you just opened something up, right? So, but what are you thinking about? What's a glimpse of it? Like you're trying to expand, obviously, in the DoD space. Do you have any other initiatives you like to bring up on the show? Just things that like, hey, if you're following Chelsea, this is what you can look forward to in the future.
Yeah. So definitely trying to, public sector, private sector,
Gotcha.
right? Trying to gravitate to all areas. Um, the future goal is, as things continue to grow and to start running itself. And
Right.
then I could pass these companies. These
Okay.
companies can have their own C-suite, and I could just look over it. My goal is to go continue into public speaking and potentially write books, right? So just to put out more information, because I believe, even though a lot of us say the same things over and over, it's
Mhm.
who certain people receive information from, different voices from different people, right? So me and Ryan, we could say the same thing, but somebody may hear your voice and say, "Oh, I got it." And I
Right.
know I just said it like 5 minutes ago. Like, what do you mean, right?
Right.
But people receive things different. And so, and I think that's what public speaking is, passing the same information and trying to get it to as many audiences. And if you could get one or two people to receive what you're saying, then you win. And so that is what I'm trying to do. I took a year off public speaking, because I realized once you really start to rolling,
Right.
and these conferences coming twice a month, every month, while you're trying to run an expanding company, it does get real tiresome, right? Um, And then so you need additional people, all right, either to help run other areas of company or, to do other things. And so that is the goal. The goal is definitely more conferences and then have more people, hire more people. So you're going to start seeing,
Right.
peer, especially peer tech heads as we bid, right? So you're going to see more peer tech heads hiring. You'll see more blurs in technology. If you're a consultant, you're a resume editor, if you are an instructor that wants to help teach these courses that I have available, if you're good at negotiation, I can send you to these colleges. You can spread what I do, see if you can make connections. Of course, definitely get the commission, right? Part commission. And so you're going to see more hiring, more reaching out. You're going to see more of both my companies spread out from the South all the way up to the West, to the North, right? And you're going to see my face, my voice
Okay.
more often. So that's future.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, so definitely, I need all of that information, like where people can find you, all that stuff, so I can put it on the on all the links. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what would be the easiest way for them to touch base with you?
Yeah. So 2 places you could always go on my website, send me a note, right? Reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Those two I said will be the best, because if you're not on LinkedIn, this will push you to get a LinkedIn, right? If you don't, if you hear about companies and you don't take the initiative to do a background check on companies, this will push you to get on people websites, kind of learn, kind of do research, like who is this person, how to start, what are they really doing, right? So it's both this how you can reach me, as well as training moment, because you should always try to do research. You should always have a LinkedIn, just have a LinkedIn anyway.
Right.
So if you can have a Twitter, you have a TikTok, you have a LinkedIn. So over 21, you have a LinkedIn. So.
And that's awesome advice. And so, and LinkedIn's trying to fix it where people can't necessarily say they work somewhere where they don't. And that's upcoming, right? I think it's currently in beta or what have you, but I look forward to verification of employment. So that way you could say, hey, I actually do work for this company and what have you. But no, that's awesome. So again, we're gonna link all your stuff in the future as you post things. Make sure you hit me up, either tag me or you can send it to me via message, so that way I can repost and spread the good word. Right. Again, that's the reason for this platform. It's to champion and highlight people of color who are out there, like kicking butt in the industry. You know, they're in the senior level positions, they're in the C-suite positions, they're business owners like yourself. They're out there doing great things for the field. But again, we're such a small percentage, right? It's kind of hard to get that spotlight. So that's what the platform is for. But to pivot, right? Because like you talked about taking a break and unwinding. I want to get there, but just real quick, for the either people who have not heard us reintroduce ourselves in some time, because it's been like 3 years, or for the new people, hopefully we'll be catching from moving over to Heroes Media Group. Shannon, if you can just real quick, right?
I got you real quick. Yeah. So Air Force veteran, you've already mentioned that. So did my 20, started out as a jet engine mechanic first, actually. And, after 9/11 hit, people weren't hiring mechanics so much because people were scared to fly, right? So it was one of those things like, what can I do to better myself, my family? And I was like, IT didn't hurt. They had a bonus at the time too, right? Didn't hurt, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me go ahead and make that happen. So cross trained back in 2004. Started out on the help desk, right? That seems to be where they start everybody that comes in, right? Started on the help desk and then started going some other sysad directions, right? Working on servers, computers, things of that nature. Then started doing monitoring management, working with remediation, like old SCCM, where it was SCM back in the day, back yeah, you know what I mean, way back in the day, but yeah, so doing a lot of that, HBSS, so working with McAfee, what I mean, logarithm, for different monitoring, auditing, things of that nature, and retired about 4 years ago. and I'm actually an ISO for the Department of Defense. So I'm on a government contract working as an ISO. So I'm kind of the network police, right? I'm kind of like, hey, are y'all doing what y'all need to be doing? You know what I mean? What did I
Right.
tell you in my training? Like I told you not to do that when I trained you on that. You know what I mean? Why are you doing it? You know? But yeah, no, like I like you know, I'm nowhere near where you're at, Chelsea. Like you getting it in. You know what I mean? How are you not sleeping right now? I don't get it. Like you stay up, stay up.
What they don't teach you, what I should lie, what they skim over in grade school is time management. They use it as a buzzword, but it's more than a buzzword.
Yeah, for sure.
There you
For
go.
sure.
More than a buzzword.
You showing it. But yeah, that's pretty much me. And you know, the quick wrap up. That's pretty much
Okay. All right. And then so Shannon, I think you've only missed like maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of the podcast. So it used to be bigger, right? Longer, I should say, longer episodes. We used to do like an hour and a half episodes, whatever. But I found it easier to catch people's attention when you do 15 minutes or less, and you do the one big one at the end of the week, which is that's what this guy is right now, the weekly rundown, which actually gets the most views, which is crazy. Where we just out here just talk about movies and games and stuff. So I do definitely appreciate that. But quick introduction for myself. So also Air Force veteran. I actually retired April 1st. So what is this, May 7th I'm recording this, so it's been a month. It's weird. I'm not the 4 years out like Shannon or Chelsea has transitioned a while back. I'm still getting used to it. So as you see, I got the full beard. That's my
I
first
see. Do not
thing.
take
I was like,
time.
gotta grow it out. But so yeah, so I started off in the Air Force as data maintenance. So I was your telephone guy, your crypto guy, and I did some work on networking. And then they had the big old merger happen, and then they smushed a bunch of career fields together, and I became a cyber transport guy, right? So I'm doing your switching, your routing, so kind of cradle to grave. Not only am I fabricating the cables and you know, place them in the building, but I'm also configuring the switches and routers they're connected to. I did a little bit of help desk when I worked for NSA. I kind of helped build out their comm focal points, what they called it at the time. So I got some hands-on with that. But primarily I was a network guy until I came here to Tampa, and then kind of broadened my horizons. I worked for a unit called the Joint JCSC, Joint Communication Support Element. There you go, man. A month. I've only been out a month, and they're an organization that does all communications, kind of like Comm Guys for Hire, joint service. Got to meet all the other services and appreciate them as well. And that's where I got my chops as a project manager, and then working to secure those networks for like special forces and things of that nature, our different customers, as well as getting my hands-on business continuity and disaster preparedness when I worked with FEMA in the area, because we get a lot of hurricanes, right? So I got to do that. Thank God I was able to take a little bit of everything from that and then move over into the private sector. So I'm currently a cybersecurity consultant for a company out of Georgia. So I do remote work. This is my office, as you can see. I don't get to play those games back there that you see over my shoulder, because I work all day. But I love it. And again, I'm in the GRC side of the house. So I am your governance risk and compliance guy. So I do your audits. I do project management for the vulnerability vulnerability and pen testing area of the company. So segmentation testing, QIV, ASV, all that good stuff. I do assessments. So I do like NIST, CSFs and things of that nature. And I also do vCISO consulting. So if you need somebody to help you for business continuity, disaster preparedness, business impact assessments, things of that nature, I do that as well. So I love it. A little bit of jack of all trades here. And I think it's really good to broaden your horizons. So that is me in a nutshell. So as you can see, 3 different wheelhouses here, and that's the way it's been on the podcast since inception. So who was not here, Levon, because of scheduling, so he hasn't been on for a while. But if you go back, Levon is a cloud engineer for a $1 trillion company. So put his business out there, but very large company. He provides cloud solutions and architecture and things of that nature. So you get a lot of good information on the podcast. Please continue to tune in. Tell your friends, like, share, subscribe, share with your nerdy friends. So that way we can continue to grow and to continue to get people on the show like Chelsea, who can, tell their story and kind of help you figure out what you want to do in tech, right? So definitely hit up her and all her links and all that good stuff. And now, major pivot, this show normally talks about everything else, right? But I like having the combination of the interview and the the everything else. One, because I don't have to edit 2 episodes, but 2, because it gives you a variety, right? So 30 minutes in, now you got to hear about all the movies and books and TV shows we listen to. So again, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But with all that being said, how's everybody's week, and what are you doing outside of cybersecurity?
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Been a long week. Getting over a cold. So
Gotcha.
I had a cold not too long ago. So I'm definitely getting over a cold.
Hey, let me ask you something about that. So Chelsea, real quick, jump in here, right? So like that happened to me a few weeks back, right? Like it was just a cold, but like I've had colds before, but it just seemed to go a little bit longer than what it used to. Did you have that same experience this season? No.
And I actually took medicine this time. I'm not a big medicine taker,
Mhm.
I believe in a lot of things, but when I'm sick, I just say the Lord take the wheel, and that's it. Even though he gave us wisdom, take medicine. That's the one time I give 100% faith, like, Lord, you got it, right? So, but I actually took medicine, and it seemed like it took longer to recover than when I don't take medicine. So, it's interesting. I have this cough, this nag in my throat. But it is probably my fault because I've been traveling. Like even right now, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, which, by the way, coming from Florida, where winter ends, it's over. There is no more cold after like mid-March. It was snowing. I was actually up here in April as well. It was snowing in April. I'm like, is it snow? Like it's April. Like we're supposed to be out in tank tops and shorts. And why do I have snow boots, right? So yeah. So I've been doing a lot of traveling. So that probably could be why.
Right.
As well. My body is mad at me.
Got you. So you have any time to squeeze in any favorite TV shows? Go see a movie?
I've been watching the finals. It's been a
yeah.
while since I, sat down and watched the finals. I've been watching it, which contribute to me losing my voice yesterday. It was game 3 of the Lakers and the Warriors, and but I was really screaming with the Celtics playing the 76ers, and I was like, okay, rooting for the Celtics. And
okay, I was gonna say, who's your team?
Yeah, I was rooting for the Celtics. I'm just trying to pass time. I've been watching baseball too, college baseball. I just seen Creighton play, so I'm trying to pass athletic time to the NFL comeback, right? So big football fan, so it's like, what? There's other sports I can enjoy. So that's what I've been trying to do. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I watched the game last night. Wait, I fell asleep before it was over though. Like they were like up by almost 30 because I think it ended. They won by 30, right?
Yeah, they won by 30. They
went on a run. And I was just like, okay, it's pretty much a wrap. So I fell asleep. But yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm just like, this is crazy. Like Knicks ain't done nothing since I was a kid.
Look at you, just hold on strong,
I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. So we'll see. When it comes down to it, like I'm being realistic, right? I'm not trying to be pessimistic about my team, but I'm just happy that they're there, right? But I'm not thinking no championship. I'll just be happy as they continue to get through the series, right? But Shannon, what about you? What you got?
Yeah, man. So we actually got another dog in the house.
What?
Today. Yeah, man. So I was holding out for as long as I could.
Got you.
We ended up getting another one. So it's a French bulldog. So we got 2 dogs now. My first dog, like, I don't know if y'all could tell, I'm a Ravens fan, right? Like, see all the Ravens stuff, represent my team. So my first dog, his name is Baltimore, right?
Okay.
And so this one we named Maryland. like the state. So
Oh, gotcha.
Baltimore and
Yeah,
Maryland.
so clever.
So
All right.
yeah. So but I mean, so got a new dog. You know, I'm trying to play hard. Like, all right, I ain't gonna fall in love with you, but no, immediately I was just like, oh, she's too cute. You know what I mean? So yeah, so the kid's been, you know, playing with her a little bit yesterday. Like I said, just got her yesterday. They've been playing with her. I thought I just heard her here a second ago. I heard the the back door open. I heard the alarm. Said the back door was open, and I was like, ah,
Right.
time to go to the bathroom. And when it comes to TV, let's see. What did I watch this week? So I finished up Citadel. The third episode. I
What
watched
you
that.
think?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, yeah, I got one. See, that's how I keep you on the hook. I find a good one from time to time. I put you on.
But then I gotta go through like 7 of them where I'm like, I'm not feeling this, and then
Hey,
you
it's
hit
the
again.
price you
Yeah.
got to pay.
Yeah. No, Citadel's good. So I think it's only a six episode arc.
Oh,
For that.
really?
I think they're only doing 6. I thought I read, and they because the first week they released 2 of them at the same time.
Right. Yeah, because I didn't watch 3 yet. I'll probably watch that tonight.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
So yeah. So watch those 3 episodes. Finished up Night Agent on Netflix. That was okay. So I don't know if you started watching that one or not.
Not yet. It's in the queue though. It's in the queue. I don't open up Netflix. I used to be my go-to to see what's on Netflix, but since I came back from Turkey, I'm just like,
Because the
nah,
prices froze. That's why you don't open it up. I get it. It's like a miniature strike. You know, like it's okay. I get it.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
told myself I wasn't gonna open up Netflix neither. You know, I should have ended the subscription, closing it. You know, they still get their money, but I get it.
I'm gonna tell you something, Chelsea. So like for me, like I was with a previous cell phone provider that was paying that bill for me every month, and then I switched. And I told my wife, I was like, look, I was like, when we switch, I was like, we don't need to keep this service anymore. She was like, but the kids watch it. I was like, and like they ain't paying for it.
They don't pay no bills.
Like, they ain't paying no bills. It's going to like $2 every time now. You know what I mean?
Not even the same Saturday morning cartoons. That'd be fine.
Yeah. Do they even have those anymore? So let's like, I'm curious about that. Like, is that even a
I
thing?
don't know.
They probably are, but they just on demand it. Like they don't know. They don't know they have to wait and they have
don't
to
know.
super early to watch something like we used to, or stay up mad late to watch something on Toonami. They don't do none of that.
So my daughter, they're 12. I have 2 girls. They're 12-year-old twins, right? And so that's so funny. So now they're just bored with the things that they watch. And well, let me say, they're bored with the things I'm giving them that's age appropriate.
Right.
And so now they're in middle school and they want to see more adult things. So I said, well, let me show you shows I used to watch around your age, since you're trying to watch things that's over my age, right? And so they're a little silly. So I showed them That's So Raven, right? And so as soon as I turned it on, they was like, they're so funny. They're like, oh, my eyes are blind. What is the pictures? Why is it so fuzzy?
Why is it
Like,
grainy?
what is this? Why is it not clear? And so I was like, shut up and watch it. And they love it. They're cackling, they're laughing, they're loving it. They're like, hey, they assume that everyone on the show is the same age. I'm like, no, they're older. They went through life, this is an older show. And so then it was like, okay, well, what about the young son? So I showed them Corey in the house. They're like, turn on. Oh, my eyes, and they watching it, they loving it. They're like, oh, all of this is awesome. I showed them Zach and Corey, the Sweet Life of Zach. Like I showed them all of our old stuff. And they're like eating it up, like, this is incredible. I'm like, I bet.
Right.
I bet it is. And so unfortunately,
retro shows.
Yeah. So unfortunately, they want to know, what are they doing now? So I have to tell some of the sad stories, which turns to a teaching moment, like when drugs. And, that wasn't the point. The point was, here's age appropriate shows for you.
Right. No, that's good. That's a good idea. I find my youngest does that now. Like I'll catch him on there was a show my oldest watched back in the day. It was like these kids lived in a hotel, and then the same characters migrated to a summer camp TV show as they aged up or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but he loves it. I'm just like, this is corny, but it's better than YouTube, right? Like, so yeah, like everything old is new again in that case. So no, that's a good idea. That's a good parenting tip right there. Look, tune into our show for good parenting tips. We out here teaching
It don't work for me. My kids will just be like, that looks terrible. I'm like, well, this is what cartoons look like in the 80s. Like, this is what I grew up.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
But what's crazy is we used to watch older cartoons though. Like, so when like Hanna-Barbera and all that stuff would come back on, like it was way older than we were. But
Right.
like you still would watch some of those cartoons when they come on. What was it called? It was this Cartoon Network back then?
no, it wasn't Cartoon
It was
Network.
something else. I forget what it was. It was called something else, but it had like all the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and they used to do racing and stuff like that, and He-Man and the Centurions, like all them real old cartoons.
see, they just going to see something. With the TV, I start going back to that age of cartoons.
Yeah, where they used to have the same frames over and over again, like Tom and Jerry were running down like endless hallway. And you were like, there's so many doors. Like they just keep they just keep recycling the same footage.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and they used to get us back in the day. Now kids can't be satisfied by anything. They be like, the CGI looks terrible. Like these are real people. Like these are what people look like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
So
ridiculous.
it was actually Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was actually formed in 1992.
Okay, so when it launched, it's kind of like BET and MTV, right? They don't show music videos anymore, but that was their initial intent, was to do this thing. Now it's everything. VH1, same way.
You just got to go to MTV3. You know what I mean? Like,
ESPN the Ocho.
It's like ESPN the Ocho. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Terrible. So this week, what I watched? I watched Citadel, so I gotta watch the last episode of that. Love it. Like I told Shannon, because Shannon was like, oh, I don't know, but I was like, anytime they go to do something that's gonna seem like a long dialogue, a shootout starts. They're like, I'm gonna explain this, and then people just start shooting each other. And it was like, Shannon, love it.
Chelsea, that's the background, right? Like I don't need all the drama. I don't need all the talk, right? Like I talk in my regular life. I need to see something I'm not seeing all the time.
Right. So yeah, so I like that show so far. Definitely gonna keep tuning into that one. I'm gonna see Guardians today. So this afternoon. So we watched Guardians 2 yesterday because all the tickets were sold out anyway. Couldn't reserve anything. And I'm not gonna just show up to a theater. I'm not about that life. Like if I ain't got a seat, I ain't showing up.
Oh, that's where they messed up. We could pick our seats too. Oh man, you would have thought it's a concert. Like this is the night. The whole theater could be empty. And it could just been my 2 seats are reserved, right?
Right.
And I'm like, hey, this is my seat. Both of these, one right on my left, on my right, and the one I'm sitting in, right? And then if you cut up in front of me, next time it's gonna be the one in front of me too, right? So so yeah, and I'm very terrified. I won't buffer. No, especially in theaters that you can order food and you can order the alcohol, and then the seats recline. And yes, then at that time it's this seat and that seat and this seat and that seat. And if you cut up in front of me or behind me, it's gonna be the 2 seats in front and the 2 seats in the back. So you know,
you buy a whole theater out in a minute. I want the whole showing. But yeah, so they just upgrade. So the Cine Bistro would be the one where I can order food here. That one's sold out for the next couple of weeks. I wasn't sure I was gonna go see it or not. But I'm going to a different one. And their whole thing is you can reserve seats, and they have different, like they call Max Recline is the very front, where you would have to lay down to watch the show. I don't want that. And then they have balcony suites that's all the way in the back. In the middle, they call it heated recline. So apparently they replaced all the reclining seats with heated. So I'm gonna see what that's about. But you can't order food. So we still got to go to concessions like peasants, get our food and then bring it back to the seats. But at least they're reserved. So
I don't know how I feel about heated recline. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna cut that on.
Like imagine like a new Jigsaw movie comes out, right? And he's torturing them in some like pit of lava, or dropping coal, or they just burning as they typically do. And then as they're burning, you feel your bottom burning. And it's like, that's just, because 3D was a lot, and then now I gotta feel what they feel. I don't know about the heater. I don't know. It had to depend on what movie I'm watching.
Right. Yeah. No, my concern is falling asleep. Like because it's cold in there, right? You all bundled up, and you cut that seat on, and it puts you out. I'd be very upset if I fall asleep in the movie. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna even utilize it. I just wanted to be somewhere near the sweet spot, right? The middle. So that was the the different packages they had.
Before it starts
Aside,
getting charged for, right? Before
right,
it's
exactly.
charged for.
Aside from that, just catching up on work. So I know it's not the work episode, but yeah, just catching up on work. I gotta, burn the candle on both ends to catch up on stuff sometimes. So that and flag football. Like, so I talked to Chelsea yesterday about it. So my youngest is in flag. So every Saturday morning I get to watch him learn how flag football works, right? I don't do a whole bunch of coaching during the week, which I'm starting to do a little bit more just so you understand the positions a little bit more in detail, whatever. But they do a practice first and then they run a game. And it's been having a blast. Like we've done basketball and soccer with him, and both of those he was just like, football though, he seems to really like he almost got a touchdown. They caught him at the 1. So, but he was pumped. So I could see the passion starting to come up. So I'm like, okay, as long as if you like it, I love it, right? So he's doing this is the spring league. So we'll probably put him in the summer. So he goes back to back in it and see if he enjoys it. Then maybe baseball, but my middle son did baseball and he hated it. So like he only did it for a little bit, but he hated every second of it. So I'm just like, we'll see.
So is he in the age range where it's baseball yet, or is it still t-ball? No.
So he's 8. So I think they're off the tee now.
Yeah.
I think it's like 5 to 8 they're on the tee. Yeah. So, and these kids have like, what's crazy about baseball is what I noticed is like if you join the wrong league, you're light years behind, right? They've had these kids playing since they're 3. So I'm just like, I don't know if that's where I want to put him.
Yeah, he may surprise you. He may surprise you.
Yeah, that's true.
One of my daughters, she surprised me yesterday. Like I said, I was watching the semifinals, right? And so one of my daughters now, I'm a huge football fan. Everybody knows it. The kids know it, right? And so one of my daughters came in, surprised me. She was like, "Oh, Ma, is that LeBron?" I said, "Yeah, that's LeBron." "Oh, I thought he played football." I said, "Oh." I didn't say it was going to be a good surprise.
Right. I mean,
he was
LeBron
surprised.
could have played football.
They just knew, like, "Oh, I thought it was a football player." I'm like, "Oh, and you came out of me." All right, well, that worked. So that would surprise you, hopefully more of the positive. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, they showed it was on my timeline this morning because I was trying to catch up to see who won or whatever, but somebody was in the stands and I guess the ball was going out of bounds and LeBron jumped in the stands or whatever. So you see the aspect of the person watching the game. I don't know how you watch the game and record the game at the same time. Like that just doesn't seem enjoyable to me, right? Like like sometimes you just got to be in the moment, right? But he happened to have his camera out, so you see LeBron jump towards him, and just that perspective, like, yeah, LeBron could have played football. That's a humongous dude. Like he's like towering over everybody as he walks through the stands, get back on the court.
When you realize you don't talk enough sports with the kids.
Right. What's your football team?
Oh man, I'm definitely a Saints fan.
Okay.
I will argue it down. I was at an event not too long ago, and so there was Chiefs fans, right? And so argue them down. I actually won, right? Like you're not going to, right? Because I told him, I said, the Chiefs are at their peak. They're at their peak. Like, how much better can Mahomes be? Like, how much better can you don't hear the Chiefs too much and hear where they have to improve on, like, the Chiefs need this, the Chiefs need that, and they're pretty much very close to their peak, right? And so I told him, I said, imagine if New Orleans was at their peak the way that the Chiefs is at their peak, right? I said, first of all, we're not gonna talk about our defense with the Chiefs. So I'm not even gonna win that way, right? So I said, what if we are at our peak offensively? Because we got growing to go. So we still have growing where you're at your peak. You're pretty much you're close to your ceiling. So, riddle me this. We hit our ceiling. Who is really going to win, right? So they really didn't want to hear that. But still though, like, but I want to we had to look at the numbers. We had to look at the numbers, as is, and stuff like that. It was a good I won the conversation, but yeah. So then they got emotional. But yeah.
It's also not fair because you are a professional speaker. So I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
put
yeah.
that out there. Like it's also not fair, but you gotta take those W's. I respect that. But yeah, aside from that, not much. I didn't really play anything. Again, I'm super pumped for next Friday. So the 12th, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out, right? So that's a 100-hour game to put my time into. Probably a 100-hour game, right? So aside from that, man, just trying to keep up with the family. I'm back home now. I've been, like I said, I retired April, so I'm getting used to that. All this freedom, it's crazy. Nobody's calling me in the middle of the night because they're locked up somewhere, right? And I gotta go talk to the shirt or something like that. Like it's crazy. Like I only have to be concerned about myself and my family. It's wild. I know I'm gonna miss it at some point, but right now I'm loving it.
Don't share too many tears.
Oh, I'm loving it. I got recalled a couple weeks ago by accident. Like I guess I'm still on somebody's roster. And they called me. Oh, just belly laughs. It's like, oh, I feel so good. Would take me off that roster though.
Like
remove my number.
Now that you called me, can you remove me off the roster?
Right, exactly. I got a PT test too. I got a PT test email. Oh, that felt so good.
Oh, they keep changing the test. In fact, I'm not going to get on it. Do you know how many times you've been? Why? Actually, I could point at you. I'm not even going to say why are we. You know, I'm old Air Force. Why are y'all constantly changing?
I'm gone now.
This PT test. No,
I'm gone now.
No. You're still new.
They're trying to fix some wrongs because you remember we had an issue with the whole BMI situation and waist and all that stuff. Like somebody could be like extremely good and in shape, but based upon old archaic measurements, they would fail. They're trying to fix those wrongs in the era of COVID, where everybody got a little bit more round, so to speak. Like I myself have been watching my calories, right? I'm not doing nothing crazy diet wise, but I gained a lot of weight. Pandemic, post-pandemic, right? Like I used to run lean at about 180, 185. I hit 212 when I was overseas, like the biggest I've ever been in my life. And now I have come down to 189, I want to say, just by counting calories. That's it. Like not doing nothing crazy, just like, you know what? I hit my you know what I mean? I'm looking to see what, okay, breakfast reasonable, lunch reasonable, or cut back a little bit and then hit up dinner real hard. Just in that, just 8 pounds in like 4.5 weeks. So, because I need, like, I'm a disabled vet, I need them to keep paying me for at least as long as I served. Before, you know what I mean? Like they like, man, I can't wait for him to get big and slow so he can stop paying them. Nah.
But you know what though? So Chelsea, you bringing that up. So like they've been working on the PT stuff like forever. I don't know if either one of y'all was in when they were doing ergo. Do y'all remember the bike? I don't know if y'all were.
I came in at the tail end of it. I took the first real test after the bike.
Yeah, like running and doing all that. Yeah. So like when they were doing ergo, like that thing was, I remember coming straight out of tech school. Like you were running and doing all that. Like I was in great shape coming out of tech school. And like I was barely passing the ergo. And I'm like I'm in good shape. Like I don't know, like I'm playing sports all the time. Like, but you get these people, like I used to hear the stories, it'd be the old chief, be like, oh yeah, with their big cup of coffee and smoke before they go take the test, and they're
smoke a cigarette before you get on the bike.
I'm like, what? How does this work?
I'm like, smoke a cigarette before you take your PT test and you'll pass. I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
But
they have the plank. You can do the plank now as part of the PT test. I feel like there is so many options, and I mean it's good. It's good since I'm not in, right? All of it is excellent, but it's like, man,
yeah,
why?
Yeah, I took my last one being, because you have options, right? So my last one I took it with all the standard regular options. I didn't do none of the new stuff because I wasn't trying to do something new and fail or hurt myself or whatever. But I saw somebody run the new test and do all the new events, and it was pretty rough. Like they passed it. They're in good shape, right? They passed in flying colors or what have you. But they're just trying to figure it out and bring in more people, and it's a balancing act, right? But especially because now people have options, right? Like out here in the world, they don't have to enlist or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the economy is weird, but it's not bad yet.
Yeah.
But when things get bad, that's when they're like, well, we got you now. So so now all these things, these things we allow, the new tattoo policies and the facial hair, or they didn't really change the facial hair policy. But they it was looking like they may, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to
They're a
be
lot more
accommodating.
lenient with the facial hair policy. They're a lot more lenient with it.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not
Like
as
the army is trying to pilot beards potentially, which I worked with joint service, or I should say coalition. Coalition, they have beards, and they still get a seal in their mask and all that stuff, and they still look professional, right? They still have rules and what have you. So things will evolve and change and what have you. Just it's the extremes, right?
yeah. I like the change because you have to understand why certain things put in place anyway, right? We're a lot more hygienic than way back
Right.
old Air Force when you had to save it due to lies, etc. Right. So I do like the fact somebody sat down and said, hey, why is this still a thing when the intelligence of mankind has evolved, the cleanliness has evolved, right? The sicknesses were a little bit more manageable. So I do like okay, we're not going to, if you have like one hair or I like the areas that they're lenient with, right? I like how they lenient with the hair and the ponytails and stuff because I get it. I get it. You want to look a certain way. You are the representation of the United States Air Force. You are that. But certain restrictions is what does that have to do with your mission, right?
Right.
So I like they're starting to look at the morale of things. Now, some things it's like they're the military. It's like, it's certain things you kind of teetering thin line with. I'm not gonna lie, but they're starting to be seem like it's starting to be more family oriented
Right.
in positions that wasn't things that's like, hey, hammering on. It's like, okay, we could be a little bit more relaxed, right? And I think they're doing that really to keep some of the people in.
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah. That's
that's
very true.
in.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that it's just a matter of them having to change with the times, right? Especially when it comes to the tattoo thing, because you got kids now getting tattoos at 16, right? It just takes the parents saying, yeah, it's fine. You know what I mean? So like with that, they're like, oh, I can get tattoos at 16. Well, I want to sleeve. I want to go all out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Neck tattoo and whatnot.
yeah.
Not knowing
So,
that
like,
24, like you might not be able to like serve or enlist or
yeah,
what have you. Or you might just have regret from doing it, or
yeah.
certain biases against you just because
Right.
of
I see some of these kids, especially Navy, they have a tattoo behind their ear,
mhm.
right? So I didn't know they was getting that relaxed, but they do. They have tattoos on their
Yeah, on their
palm
hands.
and their
Mhm.
and behind their ear, and it's odd to me, just a generation I was in the military, and so as I look and then have my own personal biases, just when I was in, I snap out of it. And I'm like, has nothing to do with the mission, has nothing to do with what they're doing. Put a little makeup on it, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
difference. So
because they definitely have issues with retention right now. But again, because things are good, we joined around the war time frame, right? So that
yeah.
was more pride and things of that nature because of what happened. So we had a big influx of people. So it ebbs and flows. So I wish them good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm out.
Enjoy. I am out.
Right. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and land this plane. Thank you so much for being our guest host for the week. So again, I'm going to link back to the interview that we had with you probably 3 years ago, right? So people can get, I think it's a good 45 minutes to almost an hour of Chelsea at that time. And then now we have what you're currently doing. Again, you expanded, you're doing great things, you're moving into new sectors. Super proud of you. I can't wait to have you back on the show again. And you're like, yeah, and I'm doing it. Like the Chelsea empire is growing. Like we over here doing this now. So that definitely thank you for being on the show. Always a pleasure, Shannon. Like I said, you've like maybe missed a couple weeks in totality for the show, even when it was a bigger, longer podcast to even now more condensed. So it's always a pleasure. Again, We're going to try to be continue to be consistent. We're going to continue to get more people on the show, so that way you guys can see like we're not we do exist, right? Like there are people in these positions, key positions, C-suite positions, senior level positions, business owners who are in this field, who look like you, and you can also do it too if you wanted to, right? You can get your foot in the door and then you can blow it from there and kind of make it your own space. So again, I keep saying there's a million vacancies, right? You can be one of those people and you can expand and make cyber even greater than what it currently is. Please continue to listen to our episodes as they come out. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check all the links that Chelsea's going to provide. I'm going to put on the show notes, as well as on like the YouTube and all that good stuff. And then just continue to watch us on our journey as well, right? And we'll see you next week. Stay safe, stay secure.